Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9 Fan Reactions Live. Yeah, it was good stuff. I know we're running a couple minutes late because this was an extended episode. Wow. Had some choppy parts, but it was everything. It gave me some good closure, some good transition, and I like where it's going. Only 2 episodes left. That kind of makes me a little sad that then we got to take a little break because it has been just an amazing summer, an amazing early first 5 episodes, and then the time skip. And I agree. I saw was it Hippo said a little bit slow. Well, it is, and every time they told a story, whether it was Oceanside or Kingdom, it takes a little bit of time to really ramp up to it. This happened a little bit quicker, and I think I don't know. I was on pretty high alert there at the end. So poor Eugene. Yeah, I'm right there with you. So first of all, let me say thank you to everybody that's here. And I know we haven't done it a little bit earlier today, but we are winding down. So it is Veterans Day. So just a special thank you to all the veterans out there. And a lot of our viewers are veterans as well. So thank you for everything that you guys do. So I'm going to start out tonight by saying of all the spoilers we talked about and the things that you were looking forward to, what part of tonight's episode surprised you the most? There are a couple things that stood out to me, but what if there's one thing that you guys could pick out? What was the one thing that kind of blew you away? Scott Kernan, great episode. Father G and Rosita, Eugene, Michonne Scar. Good stuff. I think for me, it was the fact that Carol burned all the saviors alive. I thought it was one. I thought she got back some revenge. It was everybody. There are no. I'm not worried about the saviors breaking out Negan now because there's none of them left. Yeah, that was intense. It took like no time at all for Carol to realize you don't mess with her family. I think she was willing to walk away from the ring, but it was just Henry. It was how disappointed Henry was in her. She could see that in his face. And if she didn't do something, it would have just undermined everything that she had taught him. How could she look at him? How could he? Why would he listen to anything else she said in the future? And you kept hearing that was a theme to you'll understand one day. Carol said that, and then Michonne said, and it's like, you'll understand why I did this. And they both sort of backtracked and did their own thing. Eugene was about to say the big L word, and Rosie is like, we got to get out of here. Don't make this weird. And yeah. Jed did just, of all the stuff he went through, he made it 6 years, but he just stole the rolling cart of tomatoes this time. June Smith, yeah, badass Michonne and Carol. So not a lot of Daryl. I'm going to ask everybody, we did this a little bit earlier, so I would like to get your follow-up right now. How would you rate the episode, 1 to a 10? And I'm just going to say Angela Kang she's just killing it this year. It's like every episode she touches, to me, turns to gold. Some good scores in there. Look, some 9s and some 10s. Yeah, exceptional job. Anyone impressed with Negan tonight? I'm back to not hating him. I'm slight dislike. Nature Dude said, love your videos. Thank you so much, Nature Dude. Appreciate that. You know, a lot of you, maybe even me, are warming up to Negan. He and Judith are a lot alike. So let me ask you this. Is it possible that Judith gets Michonne's toughness, Rick's ability, his valor, I guess, his ability to do the right thing, and Judith appears to have Negan's sarcasm? I'm guessing that they spent a lot of time doing her homework, and just the dialogue back and forth between the two of them. Yeah, I don't think she can get Shane's sarcasm. I don't think that's hereditary. Scott Kernan says it's as if Shane and Negan. It is a combination, right? But sane Shane, not insane Shane. So certainly they've been spending a lot of time hanging out, talking about homework, and they got a bond. So I said that would be the last icing on the last little piece of what we need to accept Negan. Maybe it's going to have to be Daryl or somebody else going to have to forgive him. That'll be some bonus points. Yeah, the kid's name's RJ. Assumably for Rick Jr. We actually got a little bit of extra whisper dialogue in there too. Don't let them get away. Where are they? And don't let them get away. Chris Riddle, super chatting, says, right into the Whisper arc. Show tonight, 10. I liked it. I really did. I liked how it sped up in a hurry. They had to tell the story. There are multiple challenges with this episode. Time skip, grieve, tell the story, and then speed the story along. And I think they did it really well. There's a lot of information in tonight's episode. Wayne Green, Judah saying Rick and Carl's voice fading is sad. It is, but I wrote this down as a note that, do you guys get the feeling that Judith loves life? And that people who have suffered and lived through a normal life and then a zombie apocalypse, they don't appreciate life as much? And I think Henry might be a little bit of that as well. Right, I understand. She's a child, Julia. That wasn't my point. It was tying into the point. Because I don't think all children are going to love life. I think it's everything that she knows. So what I'm really trying to juxtapose here is that any babies born, they see these dead as like you and I see trees or wild animals or things. And I think that's something that we got to be cognizant of, is the older people still remember normal life. And I think Judith's comment about Carl and Rick's voice fading away also shows that people born in the zombie apocalypse are so used to death that it doesn't bother them as much. It's normal. The lifespan is shorter, and it's more accepted. So they're probably going to start to say, don't get overly attached to people, because it's very common for people just to die. Derek Dixon says, do you think Eugene will survive next episode? Well, we saw Rosita running, and I did not see a Eugene. But I'm not ready to say that. I'm not ready to give up on Eugene. But man, if he got stuck behind, You know what? I'm going to get back to that in 1 second. I do want to talk about that. B. Core says, just want to say I'm so impressed with this episode. Didn't think I would be interested in Walking Dead with no Rick, but they proved me wrong so far. I think that's a great comment. They've got our attention back. That's for sure. And they haven't disrespected Rick. Jake from State Farm at 3 a.m. says The Walking Dead made a grown man cry 2 episodes in a row. And you know what? If you tuned in early, you got to watch 5 again, so you get to cry all over again. Scott Kernan, I'm having Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 vibes. I hope they are successful. Well, the writing is on the wall. Do you think that Eugene is going to take an early exit? It won't be next episode because we have heard Eugene say, the walkers are evolving. Remember, there's stuff out there. They spoiled it for us. Eugene talking about the walkers evolving. That silliness. So no, he's going to make it out. They sort of shot themselves in the foot. I think it would have been a good setup if you see Rosita running and you don't see Eugene, so we could have been kind of curious. But the fact that they showed us some additional episodes, yeah, we know that he's still out there. We got Super Chat with Steve Smitherman. Sorry, Steve. I may have missed it, but how does Judith have Rick's gun? Shouldn't have not failed. Steve, here's what happened to Rick's gun. And I didn't see Rick leave his gun, but there was a clue in the last episode that showed you that Rick would not take his gun on the helicopter. Remember, Jadis had her gun, and she was talking to the people on the walkie, and she threw her gun to the side. So when she did that, that probably signified that no guns are going to be allowed. So when they picked up Rick, I'm sure they just left the gun behind. Even though we didn't see it, they recovered it. And here's why you know that they think Rick is dead. You almost have to do a little bit of reasoning here. One, they never saw the helicopter. They never recovered a body. So there's no reason to think that Rick had an escape. And if Rick wasn't dead, he would have found them. So, I mean, they're using a little bit of common sense here. I mean, they probably looked for him for a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and they're like, look, if Rick wasn't dead somewhere, he would have walked back. So, at this point, there's no reason to think anything of it. Interesting. Well, I like where you guys are going with that. And we'll talk about it. I think that's a great theory. I don't know how far I want to get into it. So, Pete M says, awesome 909 stream as always. How did Michonne get Rick's wedding ring? So, let's talk about that for a second. Michonne has a scar on her back. Rick's wedding ring. 6-year time skip. Could Michonne have went out looking for Rick in the 6 years? Could she have donated a kidney? Could she have recovered the ring? Could Rick have died after that? I mean, yes, there are mysteries that are going to be out there. I didn't go back to see if he had it on whenever, right before he set the bridge on fire. I mean, I like the thought process. I mean, they could run into each other again, and maybe he doesn't make it. I mean, that would be it'd be a little tough. I mean, I guess the movie could play out. We're already going to think of the ending for the movie, but, Michonne finds Rick. Rick's dying. She donates a kidney. Rick dies on the hospital bed, and then we're going to be thinking like, well, why did they even save him? So, nah. That is a big scar, though. Yeah, we're getting a little too far into it. You know what? I said I would love to see the Rick Walking Dead movie, but if that was the storyline, I think I'd probably save my $12. Was there ever any doubt that Michonne would try to help? Oh, here's something that I did. I did. I thought I heard. Did Michonne say she when she said, I'm going to take them to the hilltop? Or did she say they? I could have sworn I heard her say she. I don't want to be, just thinking that Maggie has another episode. Maybe they skipped Maggie and her 6th episode was number 7. Okay, good. I want to make sure all of you heard that. So we might still see some Maggie. Could be Enid. Yeah, you're right, Drama King. Oh, come on, man. Don't ruin it for everybody. Let us have some hope. Yeah, it could be Enid. Maybe Enid's running the hilltop. Good point. If we get a real rough Whisper War, and we lose a lot of people, and Dwight shows up, and Maggie comes back, that would breathe some life into the resistance, into the fight. What did you guys think of all those Whispers with long hair right in the middle? Creepy, creepy, creepy. Also, while we're moving to the next topic, doing a reaction, we did get one person. Finally, we got somebody came in and gave a dislike to the video. But 450, 500 people, if you guys could all do me a favor. One, if you're having a good time, if you like these streams, you like hanging out, getting your thoughts included in these, everybody hit the like button. If you don't, give it a dislike. Either way, just make a call, make a decision. It's a fun group to hang out with. If this is your first time in a stream, hopefully you guys will hit the subscribe button, come back and hang out with us a little bit. We love to get as many thoughts, many ideas into our streams. So, appreciate you guys. Yet, there were 3 things that I thought really could have predicted Eugene's death. One, he was getting ready to pour his heart out to Rosita. Number 2, he was injured. And then 3, the sneak peek from next week. But because they gave us the he's talking to someone and telling about the evolution of the walkers, he's worried. I also think it was funny how in the beginning, when Eugene saw a few of the walkers, he wanted to go out and kind of impress Rosita. I think the killing of the walkers was impressing her. And then we saw the real Eugene whenever he thought he was a goner. I thought that Magna was going down a dangerous path when she said to Michonne, "Screw you." I was, whoa. And Michonne walked away. So we have seen just a little bit of a little bit more reserve from both Carol and Michonne. Joe Fulford with a super chat says, "Will the heads on the pike be at the midseason end, and the end of the season, or the end of the season in April or May?" There's only 2 more episodes. When we talked earlier in the week, we thought it would be appetizer, a little bit more, and then mid-season finale. I think we'll get Lydia next week. I'm almost wondering, now that Daryl is sort of being picked up by Carol and Henry, do you think that they will find Lydia along the way and take Lydia to Hilltop? Here's why I bring that up, is because Henry is with Carol. They're going up to Hilltop. They take a detour. They find Daryl. And at some point, Henry and Lydia will hit it off. And also Lydia ends up at Hilltop. And that's where I think Alpha comes to bargain. So I think why these whispers are sort of in the Eugene-Rosita area, I think Daryl, Carol, and Henry are going to run into Lydia away from the group. Lydia is Alpha's daughter. And it also was a little bit of a... I do know this in the comic. I kind of thought Eugene and Father G were going to switch places. Because in the comic, Eugene was with Rosita, and Father G fell from like a watchtower. And comic folks, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'm going off of just limited research. But I think Father G fell and was trapped, like his leg was pinned, and then the whispers got to him. So when Eugene was up on the water tower, I thought, okay, well, that would be kind of like role reversal, because Rosita's with someone else, and then Eugene's the one that gets pinned. So looks like they might have just given us a little bit of that visual, just so it doesn't... Now it's probably not going to happen that way. Some really, really good stuff. Well, it was good to see that you guys are rating it pretty high. Daryl going for the fish, killing the walker, and then the bird. Anything special other than symbolism, moving on, life? You've got like the death and the life like side by side. I did too, Regina. Regina said, "I love seeing Negan and Judith tonight." Well, Negan spoke with confidence, so you can see the 6 years. He doesn't appear to want to die any longer. And I think he looks forward to his conversations with Judith, because Negan has always liked to influence. And he never had any kids. So I think that's his opportunity to do both. I really did like the dialogue. How does Michonne feel about Judith talking to Negan? Have you guys really... I know we did discuss that a little bit. Or aren't you maybe a little afraid that Michonne would visit Negan and say, you know what, Judith's changing too much and it's not a good... That would crush him. I think that's all he has to look forward to. So it does appear they're not trying to torture him any longer. June Smith. Michonne will mother Judith as she will RJ. Yeah, she's been doing a good job of it. The best line from the show tonight was when Judith said to Negan, yes, and look at how great things turned out for you. That showed you her maturity, her wherewithal, that she can stand toe-to-toe with Negan, and he's just smiling about it, like taking it all in stride. I thought that was incredible back and forth between the two of them. Libertarian Freak, 2902. Who do you think will let Negan out of the cell? I'm thinking. I'm really trying to process how things could happen and how Negan could get an escape route. They may need him. If they start to get overrun, everything that they built up in Alexandria, I mean, they showed you how beautiful it is. If it gets overrun, if it gets destroyed, oh man. We're going to have to build this thing up again? How many times can we build this thing up? B-Core. Oh, yeah. Also, prop to my boy Henry. Actor is pretty good. You know, I'm going to make that the Super Chat Spotlight. How do you guys feel about Henry? I like his toughness. I like that he and Ezekiel had, Ezekiel told him to watch his tone. But Henry does seem like he's standing up for what's right. But Henry is going to get himself in some trouble as well. We'll get to that in 1 second. Jimmy's Jammin' was really excited at the chemistry between Negan and Judith, but Judith isn't fooled by him. Nope. She even said when we started out, so easy to just kind of fall in love with her character because, at the beginning's like, I'm not going back if they're not going back. And then she says to Michonne, it was my decision. And Michonne had a little sidebar. So she definitely gets some respect. And I think a lot of that respect is because of the way everyone felt for Rick. I think she's earned some of it, but some of it was kind of given to her. Joe Fulford says, please give a shout out to all the moderators. They are doing just an awesome job, and so are you, by the way. So shout out to all the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kels. Absolutely do a wonderful job each and every week. They're incredible. So, old habits die hard. Remember, Henry let Gregory out of the cage. Now we see a touch of it. Now, the writers are not giving us full-blown... They don't want us to hate Henry. But I think they want us to be a little bit apprehensive. So he does want to do things a certain way. They're showing his independence. Ezekiel, tells him to watch his tone. Then Carol does something clearly to protect him, and he speaks up again. That's going to be a storyline to where when they get back to Hilltop and Lydia goes back, Henry will apparently follow her and get himself captured by the Whisperers. I have heard that. Not 100% confirmed yet, but have heard that Alpha will pay a visit. And that's why I think it'll happen probably in 8. Robin Vance, I guess that is a possibility. We did not hear from Tara. Where's Pete D? I'd like to ask this question to Pete D. Any possibility that Tara is leading the Hilltop? Just want to see the comments here. Drama says, who's Tara? Fair enough. Deborah Mooney, capital letters, no. I want to see Tara with some hair like Carol. Okay, hey, I figured I would ask. It was posted, so I figured I would get it out there. So someone posted a minute ago, do we post it, or do we trust a new group? Yeah, I do. But sometimes when you do is when, well, let's put it this way. Who trusts Magna and Group right now? I'll give you a reason to trust them, and then I'll give you a reason not to trust them. Yeah, Ida says, I like the group. Well, you like them, but do you trust them, Ida? Most do, a couple don't. Let's not forget Negan's comment about bringing the dog home and how you can get your... I don't know line for line what he said, but anyway, I get the gist of it. And he was talking about that group. So, Negan doesn't know them yet, but he is kind of making... He's speaking out loud that you can't always go out of your way because it could come back and backfire on you. Now, whether that becomes anything, hey, look, he's in a jail cell. It may be relevant. It may not be relevant. But if they do betray them or do something sneaky, then we're going to go back to Negan's comment and say, okay, yeah, he told us. Overall, I thought it was great dialogue, though. All right. Peace, last man standing. The show is not for everybody. Sadly, and I will say that's a little disappointing. Not only that some people leave the show, but I think more importantly that people leave our chats. I mean, I guess if you don't have anything in common, but let me take a moment to say this. One, this group is a very, very tight-knit group. And number two, no matter what show we talk about, we're always going to have a good time hanging out. And hopefully, whether it's Game of Thrones, whether it's whatever we do, then, it's unfortunate some people are just going to leave the show and not want to hang out with us. I get it. But the people that stick around, and hopefully they like Fear the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and this show for another 3, 5, 10 years, then we're going to be here. As long as we have people involved and they have something fun and relevant to say. That's a good point. Hey, you know what? That is the most appropriate thing I've ever seen. Tommy V says, "Guess you're not the last man standing after all." I guess we will be the last. But you know what? No hard feelings, to each their own. Um, if there's something else you'd rather do on a Sunday night, I get it. But we're going to be here. And when Walking Dead goes into its off season and we got 5 or 6 weeks off, we'll still be here talking about the show, and we'll talk about other shows, and we will do some random things as well. I do like the. I just think the walkers and the visuals get so much better every year. I really like the walker that snuck up behind Daryl in the little river. Albert Arthur says, "Whatever happened to the sanctuary people? To the sanctuary people, are they still around?" They kind of went up in smoke, I think, Albert. Jed actually said when the sanctuary fell, so some went to other communities, and Jed's group of bandits, they got burned up. Hey, being a savior's hard. I guess sometimes you just get burned out. Okay. Probably not the best. Probably not my best material. Yeah, the CGI bird, I had to ignore that it was a colorful little robin or whatever it was, because I had to be in the moment. You had Michonne talking in the background, and it was not their best work, I will say. But at this point, I think some of the CGI, the deer, Shiva, the bird, the current under the bridge, it leaves some stuff to be desired. But Michonne's dialogue was so good. You know what? I didn't mind the bird. I could live with it. It just showed that there's a reason to keep on keeping on. Let's do a quick prediction. What episode is Negan going to get out of jail cell? I'm going to predict it's going to be after the time skip. I think it's going to be 9 or 10 when the Whispers really start making some noise. Mid-season finale, 9 to 11. Don't you kind of see, all right, next week is going to be sort of running. It's going to be it'll be finding Lydia. It'll be getting to the hilltop. And then the mid-season finale is going to be about, seeing how reckless this group is and negotiating for Lydia. And then we'll probably get some death. And then don't you see 9 kind of being one of those things where they come back and they have the council all get together and they're like, we need Negan. We need this person. We need this, where they're just like figuring out what they got to do to keep it together. I mean, I love they have this council, and I love that they built everything up. But they're on the verge. They're going to be on the verge of losing everything again. It's interesting that, like, Carol knew that detour, and Daryl evidently has been out there for 6 years. Does she just go out and, like, throw him raw meat every month or so? I mean, 6 years is a long time. But she knew where to find him. It's like, hey, you need a ride? I mean, clearly that's not the first time they've talked in the last 6 years. Oh, yeah. Got him with the cookies, right? And, Drama King has made it a point to say that Daryl has not bathed, but I will say we can probably put that rumor to rest. He was bathing today. He was in the river. So at least half of him. All right, couple more notes here. And we've hit on some really solid bullet points tonight. Spoilers were spot on. I don't think there was a whole lot extra, but they just developed the stories a little bit more. So you kind of knew what was going to go down with Magna, but you didn't know. I mean, there were some cool effects with that. Like, not only she have a knife in her belt, but she had, the weapon around her neck from Yumiko. And when they were kind of going and talking about all their past professions, I didn't know whether to trust them at that moment or not. So even though I kind of knew the overview, there were still a couple things that I like seeing it play out. Well, the Michonne Michael it's going to be an interesting topic of debate. Whether it happened in 6 years, well, is it something that I don't ever recall seeing that scar on Michonne. Now, let me say this. I haven't zoomed in that closely, and I'm sure we can go back and find footage of Michonne and Rick together, or Michonne wearing, a shirt. I don't think that scar was there prior to Rick dying. And the fact that they zoomed into it, well, one, I mean, it's going to be easy for us to find out. There's just so many things that could symbolize. It could have been self-inflicted. It could have been, her trying to exhaust everything just to, have Sadiq see if somebody could survive it and prove they could survive it. It could be, some interaction. She could have ran into some bad people. I mean, it's going to be like the PPP on the key card. We're going to be talking about it. They definitely want us to talk about it. They're probably listening to us talk about it right now. Like, check it. Check all these YouTubers live streaming. Everybody wants to know about the scar. Yeah, I'm not ready to make a bold prediction for the scar just yet. I think it's a fair question. Drama. I don't think so. And if you guys didn't see Drama King's question, Are they purposely disrespecting Maggie's character based on the contract dispute? I don't think so. I just think there was a contract dispute and they didn't know what she was going to do and they had to write a certain story for her because they had her under contract. And I just don't know if they had the time to give her a proper exit. But they will go back and tell the story. But they can still wow us with other stuff while they're figuring out, what they're going to do with Maggie. And if she comes back, I don't think they would purposely disrespect her if there was the opportunity for her to come back. That seems a little bit petty to me. And why would she? They didn't want her to leave. They want her to be a part of the show. So, yeah, I don't think that was intentional. I disagree with the people that say that they did it on purpose. Here's another reason why I don't think they would do it on purpose. There's a lot of Maggie fans out there. So why are you going to go after an actress that's done nothing but good stuff for your show just to be vindictive? I don't. I don't even... It's probably because I'm not a vindictive person. I just don't like that stuff. I just would rather give people the benefit of the doubt and say most people have good intentions. Well, I'm a fan of Maggie and I'm a fan of AMC. And I'm a fan of Angela Kang. And I'm a fan of their bad CGI. And the writing has been just phenomenal. I don't think there's been a bad episode this season. All right, let me see if I got a couple more bullet points here before we start to wind it down. With Michonne walking away and says she will second that vote, I think it's all they needed to say. She made her point to get the council to vote no by saying, you guys figure it out, and I'll just second whatever you say. And just storming out, it's basically her saying no. But, she saw Judith with the gun. She heard Judith talk about a lot of things really had to happen to shift her opinion. And then she puts on Rick's shirt and walks out there and handles things the way that Rick would. Yeah, Ezekiel said he saw the fair as an opportunity for the communities to really start trading the way that they used to, not halfway trading. Mitch, could something happen to Michonne and Child? I don't know. I'm not ready. Anything that I would say about the X would just be a complete guess. So we'll have to think about it a little bit and get in topics during the week. It's just ironic that it's in the same spot as where Rick got rebarred. And it may just be a way of suffering and feeling what he went through. And like I said, I'm not comfortable with anything. But if that's the way he died and that's the way he bled out, and she wanted that to always be a reminder of his pain, kind of like a tattoo. If I had to guess, that's what I would say now, not knowing, whether or not it was some surgical procedure. That's unhealthy, June. Yeah, I'm sure. There was some depression and everything that she was going through. No doubt about it. All right, we're not going to keep this super, super long. I mean, these are our reaction videos. Those of you that are new, we have several different types of streams. So if we start the week on a Sunday, 11 o'clock, we do a love versus hate, really get into psychology of the characters. Then we do a countdown at 8 o'clock, and then after the show, like tonight, we just give our reactions. Not a deep dive. We don't really go scene by scene. I just want to see what everybody thought of tonight's episode, and overall, looks like it was a success. I know there's still going to be a few people that are moseying out. They don't like the composition. They don't like the relationships. They don't like that Rick's not there. They don't like the strong female characters. Whatever. I mean, to each their own. We do. We're going to be here. We're going to be watching the show. 2 more episodes till the mid-season finale. I just think they're absolutely crushing it. So it's a lot of good stuff to talk about, and I think we'll be able to dig down a little bit deeper. During the week, we will do streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9:30 every night. So tomorrow night, we will go a little bit further, probably do a complete recap of this episode, and also talk about some of those clues that were out there. Thanks. Appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to do some shout-outs because I didn't earlier in the day, and just thank each and every one of you. I'm going to start out with the patrons, top left-hand corner. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. If you guys are interested in becoming a patron, there's a link down below. Sponsors, top right corner as well. Thank you for the sponsorship. And we got the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells. They do a phenomenal job. And, of course, we got super chatters. So every stream, we got a crew of people that pop in and freeze their comments, and we have a lot of good stuff to talk about. So tonight, super chatters, we had Scott Kernan, Wayne Green, June Smith, Chris Riddle, Derek Dixon, B. Core, Jake from State Farm, Steve Smitherman, Pete M., Joe Fulford, Libertarian Freak, Jimmy's Jammin', and Albert Author. So thank you so much. Appreciate you guys being here. And this is where we're going to wind it down. So this is the end of a long Walking Dead day. We'll be back here at 9:30. So to all the 999 Army, if you guys could do me one big favor, slap the like button, last call, and also give me a 999 so I can shout out as many of you as I possibly can within the next couple minutes. So I want to say thank you to Sheila Mack, also to Lisa Khaleesi, Edwin Gonzalez, Michael Curie, Regina's Old Soul, Samantha Coombs, DJ Damstat, Kevin Stover, Ron, Nikki, Lisa, Samantha W., Joyce Andrew, Sergeant Chosen One, Valar, Tommy V., Dwayne Willis, Deborah Mooney, Brian Wortham, Darlene Reinig, Hilda Pineda, thank you, Cindy D., Delmarva, Joe Fulford, Hippo, Sarah Drumheller, Mark Trotter, Robin Vance, Nerd Life, Bumblebee Brown, Mitch Drew, thank you so much, Jimmy's Jammin', appreciate that, 1189 Paris, Chris Reinig, Joseph Smith, Walking Dead Nerd, always a pleasure. And if I don't give you guys a shout out, just keep in mind, I'll catch you on the next one. Rhonda DeLuca, Draconis, Rial, what's up, Rial? Good to see you. Ida Roma. And when you guys are typing and chatting and having communications, your comments are a permanent part of this video. And a lot of times, some of the comments you guys make, we use them for future theories and predictions. And we'll have some good stuff coming tomorrow night as well. Tracy Frederick, appreciate you. Rubelo's channel. Chris Riddle, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Viola McGowan. Holly B., thank you. Reese Wixie, thank you, Reese. Tanya Dockstader, thank you. Uncle Creepy as well. Have a good night. Just Just waiting on a few more shout-outs. There's always a lot of people I miss. Zoe Barnes, thank you. Have a good night. Watch the replay and participate in it like it's live, because there's going to be a lot of people watch the replays and then communicate with each other as well. Yeah, Sergeant Chosen One, I'm always more comfortable when the spoilers come out on Thursdays, because it gives us about 3 days worth of predictions, and we can analyze, break down the show, and then we can always compare our spoilers to our predictions. So tomorrow we'll do a recap. Tuesday will be a lot of predictions for this coming show, and then we'll have another Walking Dead topic probably on Wednesday. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate you, and I will see everybody tomorrow night, 9:30. Peace.